close your eyes. Think of the craziest conspiracy theory that you know of. Extraterrestrials built the pyramids. The Book of Revelations predicted the Chernobyl disaster. The military manipulate the weather. World leaders are shape-shifting reptilians. Now, imagine that you work for a high-ranking government agency and are one of the few people in existence who know that that theory is true. A select few of the Office of Naval Intelligence are in this exact position. They harbour knowledge that would change the course of humanity if it were to ever get out. The very history of the human race would be brought into question. Millennia's worth of history books would be nullified. Common science is debunked, and our origin as a species entirely invalidated. This is ONI's darkest secret. Long before modern humanity, and even before the earliest we can date humanity back to, our species existed, and they were far more technologically advanced than we will be for at least another 500 years. Rivaling our true ancestors were another species of similar technological capability, the Forerunners, and then there was another species, the species responsible for literally creating humanity and everything else in existence, the Precursors. The Forerunners wiped these Precursors out about 10 million years ago, but then, over 9 million years later, the Precursors returned, this time in a different form, the Flood. They began infecting our ancestors, spreading the parasite like wildfire among human colonies, and turning us into crude, violent zombies. After years of retreating, ultimately into Forerunner-controlled space, the Forerunners, ignorant to the existence of the Flood, wiped out what remained of our advanced ancestors, except for a few. They then reset the few they spared back to prehistoric cavemen as punishment, and proceeded to torture us, attempting to extract information from our genetics to find a cure for the Flood. Information that modern humanity still have within them. Then, when the Flood wiped out the Forerunners too and the Halos were fired, their conservation measure repopulated Earth with prehistoric humans, and thus, the version of human history that you'll find in the textbooks began. ONI know about all of this. They know that we didn't evolve from apes hundreds of thousands of years ago, and that humanity's supposed evolutionary path that researchers taught for years that we thought was a given simply isn't true. They know that the Big Bang Theory is false and that we were created by huge, eldritch-like beasts with ethereal powers. For hundreds of years, humanity has believed false information about our conception, and imagine if that fact leaked. People would begin to question themselves, their existences. Humanity's entire mental state would change. For years, people have wondered what the galaxy was like prior to human existence, and learning that we actually existed in this time, and that we were involved in wars with hyper-advanced aliens and space zombies would quite literally mind-boggle people. There'd be riots, mass protests, and civil unrest among the colonies, and that's only considering humanity's false history. The general populace's reaction to finding out that humanity was wiped out by space zombies, the corrupted reincarnation of what we believed for years was the Big Bang, would strike fear into everyone's hearts. For years, humanity watched movies, played games, and read tales about the mythical horrors of the undead. We loved them because they gave us a glimpse into a timeline where something as terrifying as the undead exists, but with the ultimate solace that it doesn't. Well, now that's not the case. The undead can and do exist, and to add to this, if ONI's cover-up of the Flood invasion of Voi was leaked as well, the result would be insanity. The undead parasite that wiped out our super advanced ancestors that we just found out existed was recently on Earth, infecting, spreading, and growing on our own home turf. It'd lead to new religions being created, worshipping the Precursors, ancient humans, and the Flood, and existing religions would be questioned en masse. The very fabric of humanity would be torn. Ultimately, this is the most potentially destructive classified knowledge that ONI have. It far surpasses the Spartan program, Midnight Facility, the sabotage of the elites, and everything in between. The knowledge that hundreds of years of human history is false would wreak havoc on the mental state of humanity, and despite the mental fortitude of those high enough at ONI to have this knowledge, deep down, the truth must chip away at them, day in and day out. And that is what I believe to be the darkest secret that ONI possess. It's unknown how many, or I guess how few, know of this, but the number is likely low single digits. To me, it's just mind-blowing that out there, somewhere in the Halo universe, there are people that know that everything we're taught about ourselves and our history and our biology is a lie. And who's to say that in real life this isn't the case as well? Who's to say that like the CIA or MI5 don't have highly top secret data that proves that maybe aliens existed on Earth before us or something? I mean, in that way it sort of hits home, and that is why I think that it's such a dark secret, and the damage that it would cause if it ever got out would be astronomical. Oh, also, if you're wondering where all of this is from, no, I didn't just make it all up. It's actually from the Forerunner trilogy of Halo books, so basically everything that's told in those books are actually records of the events found by ONI on Forerunner installations in things like terminals and intel pads and data pads and the like. I mean, to add to this, Mendicant Bias, the ancient Forerunner AI that corrupted to the Flood during the Forerunner-Flood War, literally talks to Master Chief in Halo 3, which is something that I really should make a video about at some point. But with that said, that should do it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave your thoughts on this dark secret down below in the comments. I want to give a big thank you to all of my patrons: Ardent, Tomahawk, Taylor, Evan, Momo, Shikata, Mjolnir, Matthew, Pierre, Tony, Ben, Jim, Regan, Quantum, Jack Madden, Eric Brown, Sam Grafton, Brewer98, and Hayden Woods. Thank you so much for the continued support. Thank you again so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you in the next one.